DreAllDay.com.
To show you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, yes, there is more. You get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves all of us, especially you, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together in one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show, one masterclass, daily masterclass that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic is how to know people and be known by people. I can't tell you how many people I know and meet who express one form of some belief that they're really good at what they do, maybe even great at what they do, but the problem is they don't have enough eyeballs on them / their work to get the results that they want. Maybe this is your situation. Maybe this is how you feel right now, that you are very good at what you do, but for whatever reason, not enough people know you. You don't have enough attention. You're not selling enough of your product. Not enough people are liking your photos. Not enough people are watching your videos. Not enough people are reading your blog. You put a product out and not enough people bought it. You have game, but you're just not getting any attention. Maybe you play a sport and you're not getting recruited. You don't have an agent. Nobody's giving you an opportunity. Whatever it is, I've heard so many different forms of this over the years, from entertainers, athletes, business people, thought leaders, people who don't even know what they want to do. They just know they're good, but they don't know what to do with that goodness. Listen, masterclass number 1334. First of all, I did a class titled How to Get Hired for Any Job, Anytime. If you have not listened to that and you are looking to get hired for a job, you should probably go listen to a masterclass called How to Get Hired for Any Job. Today, we're talking about how to get your name known. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean you want to get hired for something. Maybe you're not trying to get hired. Maybe you're just trying to get more likes and followers. Maybe you're trying to get more views. Maybe you want to get more engagement. Maybe you just want to get some attention because it will serve your ego. Whatever it is you're after, if you want people to know who you are and you want to know people, you want to build your network, you want to be more connected, you want to have relationships, you want to do more just knowing people and being known by other people, I'm going to tell you exactly how that's done today. Is that something you're interested in? Great, take notes. Point number one, today's topic once again, is how to know people and be known. First thing you got to do, be outside and be unique. Be both. Be outside and be unique. Masterclass number 854, I gave you a serious luck strategy, which is being outside. What does it mean to be outside? It means wherever things are happening, you need to be there. Wherever things are going down, you need to be around. Wherever the people who are somebody are gathering, you need to be gathering with them because you're somebody, or at least you plan on becoming one. You want to be a somebody, go to where the somebodies are. Do what the somebodies do. All right, they go to that event, they go to that convention, they're at this conference. All right, you need to be at that event, convention, and conference. All right, those are the things that you need to be doing. And when I say outside, I don't necessarily mean outside in the outdoors in the open air. I mean outside of your house, outside of your normal space, outside of your comfort zone, doing things that will actually get you seen and known. If you're not known right now, that means you need to do some things that are different from what you've been doing and led you to a position of being not known. You do the things that will get you known, which means you got to step outside of your comfort zone. Because if your comfort zone was enough to get you known, then you wouldn't have this problem in the first place. Everybody following me so far? Hit the rewind a couple times if you didn't catch everything that I just said. People cannot know you if you are not present and expressing yourself in your space, in your field, doing whatever the thing is that you do. All right, people can't know you if you ain't out there, if you ain't in the game. How's somebody gonna know you for doing X if you're never where X is actually done? If you're never out there doing it, how are people gonna know you for that? It's not even possible. You want to be known in the running community in your city, but you never go to any events. All right, how is anybody gonna know you? All right, it's impossible. You may be the best runner in the city. If anybody know you, you'll be recognized as that, but nobody knows you, so you don't get the recognition. The point of being unique that goes along with being outside. So everybody got the outside part, right? Everybody understands the part about being outside. Get outside of your comfort zone. Don't keep doing the same things that you already been doing if those things did not get you known in the first place. Get outside, go to where people are at, be where things are happening, and stay where things are happening until you become the thing that's happening and people have to come to you. Until you get to that point, you need to go to wherever it's happening, be there. Wherever it's popping off, you be in there popping off too. All right, so the whole point of being unique is also key. because you could be where things are happening, but now you got to get yourself noticed, all right? Because there may be a whole lot of other people listening to this masterclass who are going to follow the exact same strategy that I just gave you, is to be where it's happening. So if there are 1,000 people who show up where it's happening, how is anybody going to remember you out of that 1,000 who all showed up? I'm going to tell you how. You got to be unique. Now, just because you're outside doesn't mean you've done everything you need to do. All right, so I don't want anybody to listen to half of what I said and not get the whole thing. You listen to half of 1 point when I got at least 3 points every class here. Don't listen to half of 1 point. It was just 1/6 at best of what I'm going to say, and then say, well, I did it, Dre, it didn't work. Oh, listen to the second part of this. Can't be outside and still blend into the wallpaper. All right. You don't want to be doing some different things, going to some different places, and then nobody even notices that you were there. All right, nobody even noticed that you showed up. You still got to do something. When I was in high school, my junior year, I tried out for the varsity basketball team. That's all we had was varsity. We didn't have any other teams. And I didn't make the team. And a few months into the season, me and a few of my classmates in high school, we had all walked from school, and there was a McDonald's in North Philly, not far from my high school. We all went to the McDonald's, and we're 16, 17-year-old kids. All we do is talk shit to each other. So one of these kids in my class, he was talking shit to me about basketball. And I said to him, like, yo, I ain't a superstar in basketball, but I'm better than you. And he was like, well, no, you ain't. He was basically saying, you haven't done anything, Dre, to prove that you're better than me. And I said, yo, I know I'm still better than you. He said, well, you ain't on the basketball team. If you were good, you'd be on the basketball team. And I said to him, yo, you didn't even try out for the basketball team, which was true. And he said, well, it's like you didn't try out. You didn't make it either. Neither one of us is on the basketball team. And he was actually, a small part of what he was saying was right. Now, there is something to be said for actually showing up and being where things are happening. But there's another thing to be said for actually doing something once you show up. So I had showed up to the tryout, but I hadn't done enough at the tryout to actually make the team. So I didn't get the return on investment from it, except some great stories that I could tell years later when I was able to turn those failures into success. But the point here is this. And the reason I'm telling you what that guy said is for you to understand this. Just because you are outside, just because you went to tryouts doesn't mean you achieved anything. All right, now you got to do something at tryouts, okay? Just because you tried out for American Idol don't mean anything if you didn't make it onto the TV show, okay? Just because you went and pitched your business on Shark Tank doesn't mean anything if nobody invests in your business and you get to expand your operations the way you want to on Shark Tank. You got to actually do something. You got to be interesting, okay? Do not blend into the wallpaper and nobody even noticed that you were even in the room in the first place. All right, you want to be an interesting individual, you got to have something interesting about you. I got a masterclass coming on how to be an interesting person. All right, if any of you out there who is boring and bland and nobody pays any attention to you, even though you think you're pretty good or that you're worthy of attention, but you seem to not be getting it because you're just an uninteresting individual, you can admit it, at least to yourself. If not to anybody else, I got a masterclass coming that will help solve that problem. Even for those of you who don't want to admit it, I'm going to tell you some things that will help you become more interesting. So if you think you're already interesting, I got some more coming that'll just make you even better. Okay, coming soon. This is something that you must either identify within you. When we talk about the interesting part, the uniqueness within you, or uniqueness about you, let's say. You either need to identify something within you that makes you unique, or you must manufacture your uniqueness through your actions, creations, and experiences. And I'm letting that sink in. Pausing so that can sink in a little bit. Either something within you as a person, or something you can manufacture by what you do, what you create, and where you've been. Or a combination of all of these. For me, for example, in the business world, the thought leadership world, being black is unique in certain rooms. All right, trust me, I've seen it. All right, now that doesn't necessarily mean that the yellow brick road gets laid out and the red carpet is rolled out and everything works. Sometimes it can work against you as well as work for you. It depends on how you play the game. Depends on how you play those cards that you're going to be dealt. Being black in the professional speaking world, it is uniqueness. That does not necessarily mean everything's going to work. It could mean nothing works. You just got to know how to play the game. So again, uniqueness doesn't mean better than everybody. Uniqueness just means different from everybody. It's not better than, it's different from. And being different can either scare people away or it can draw people towards. It depends on how you play those cards. Everybody follow what I just said. It was very important there. Being an athlete in certain rooms makes me unique. In certain sports rooms, coming from a Division III school, makes me unique. I remember when I did several speaking gigs for the NBA's developmental league called the G League nowadays. a couple years back. And I remember I would get up there and I'd be talking to rooms. Usually we would talk to 2 teams at a time, and there are 30 teams in the G League. So we would talk to 2 teams at once. Did this about 15 times. And I remember when I would get up there and tell my story, and I would say something like, I came from a Division III school. That would get people's attention. Like, damn, you came from a Division III school and you made it pro. It caught their attention because as basketball players, most of the guys I was talking to, these guys had played D1 basketball, and most of the players that they knew had played D1 basketball. So when I'm standing up there talking to them about things that I did, and I tell them I came from a D3, it made me unique and different from them. I wasn't just another person talking to them. Being an author is a unique thing. And why a lot of people want to become authors, because it will add to their uniqueness. And it is true. To this day, still, being an author is uniqueness. Having a daily masterclass, that's unique. Notice how many of these things that I'm pointing out to you, I'm not giving you these things to brag or to impress you, but to impress upon you. Many of these things are manufactured based on my actions. They are not inherited traits. Did you notice that? The only one of these that's an inherited trait is being black. All right, so if you're not black, you're white listening to this, you can't copy that one. All right, all the rest of these, you can find some uniqueness within them in the example, if it is not a unique, not unique, but a direct parallel for you. For example, if you're not an athlete, okay, you can't use that one, but hey, maybe you are a school principal, or maybe you're a scientist, or maybe you're a person who sells Mercedes Benzes. Something about you, something that you do professionally can be unique in certain rooms, coming from wherever you came from. I came from a Division III school to play professional basketball. You came from blank to blank. All you got to do is fill in that sentence. You came from something that seems, first of all, fill in the second part. What is it that you ended up doing professionally that's impressive or sounds good or that you're proud of? Then what's something in your background or in your past that does not usually contribute to someone becoming what you have become? If you can fill in that sentence, then you could be something. You could say, I'm a business owner who runs a $10 million company who came from poverty, and I didn't even know my parents growing up. I was adopted. Usually people who come from that background don't become wildly successful statistically. You did it. That is your uniqueness. Just that one sentence alone. I came from poverty and not knowing either of my parents to run a $10 million company as a CEO. That is uniqueness. All right, so all you had to do is figure out where'd you come from and where'd you get to that don't seem to be connected to each other usually, but you did it. Being a whatever, something that you've achieved that makes you stand out. For me, it was being an author, something like that. Having something that you do consistently that would impress other people. All of these are manufactured. All right, these are things that are based on things that you do, things that you have created, things that you represent, but these are all choices, okay? These are not things that you either have it or you don't. These are choices that any human being can make, and you can figure out what your uniqueness is. When you know what your uniqueness is, lean on it. Lean on that uniqueness as hard as you can, because it, once again, is much easier to prove that you are unique than it is to prove that you are better. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is how to know people and be known. Second thing you need to do is speak first. Now, this one you can use as a metaphor, but I'm going to tell you the literal translation of what I mean when I say speak first. Too many people, damn near everyone, when I say too many, I mean damn near everybody that I come across, is often waiting for someone to come up to them and speak to them. Now, again, I mean this literally and metaphorically. Some people go to an event where they know that they don't know anybody, then they walk in the room, stand there or sit there, and don't say anything to anybody. They don't strike up a conversation with anybody. They don't say hello to anyone. They make eye contact with people, then look away. They don't try to strike up conversations. They don't do anything outgoing in the whole time. So they stay there the whole time. Don't talk to anybody. Don't meet anybody. Don't shake anybody's hands. Don't make any connections. Don't get their uniqueness or goodness or anything out to anyone else, and then they leave, go home and say, well, nothing happened at that event. It didn't really do anything for me. Of course it didn't do anything for you because you didn't do anything for yourself. They are waiting for someone to speak to them first. So again, I mean this in a literal sense, but also mean this in a metaphorical sense. There are many people, some of them are listening to me right now. Some of you are listening to me right now, who you believe you are good at what you do. You have skills, you have game, you have some values to offer to the world, yet you are not doing the necessary things to get people to pay attention to how good you are. You are not doing any outreach. You are hoping that people reach out to you or reach in to you, but you're not doing any reaching out to them. Understand this, ladies and gentlemen. Being good in life is not enough. You got to sell the fact that you're good. Being who you are is not enough. Even though you're great, I'm sure you're amazing, you got to sell people on the fact that you're amazing. The first step in selling somebody on the fact that you're amazing is you must get their attention. Can't sell somebody on anything if they're not paying attention to you. Too many people in life are waiting for someone to come to them and speak up to them. If you go to dreallday.com/press, dreallday.com/press, well, you'll see on that page all the media appearances that I've done over the years. And there's probably several missing that I forgot to add to that page, but we'll find them over time. Now, when you look at that page, again, I'm not directing you to that page to impress you. I'm directing you to that page to impress upon you. 95% of the listed appearances that you see there, those are articles that I've been featured in, or guest articles that I've written, or shows that I've been on, whether that be a video show, radio show, or someone's podcast. 95% of them, I created that opportunity by reaching out and getting those people to know who I am, selling myself to them and to their audience, and then going on there and delivering. 95% of them, probably more than that. Now the other 5%, those people reached out to me and then we made it happen. I'm telling you that again to let you know, you must be willing to speak first. You got to be willing to reach out to people and say, hey, I see what you're doing and I see what you're delivering. I think I can add on to that. I think I can make that better. I think I can add some value here for your audience, or for what you have going on, or for what you're doing. If you're willing and able to do that, then you get your opportunity, you actually deliver. All right, now you're somebody. Now you're known, at least to that person and to whoever their audience is. I don't care if it's 5 people or 5 million, you are known to that person and to their audience. Now, wash, rinse, repeat. Do that again. Then do it again. And then keep doing it. This is your job forever. Understand that this phenomenon can be best witnessed, as I already explained, that people waiting for someone to speak to them. In the literal sense, at any event where a lot of people don't know each other, there's going to be a whole lot of people. There's going to be a few outspoken individuals who walk around and say stuff, and they are talking a lot amongst everybody, and a few people who will mix and mingle. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of people just standing on the wall, metaphorically speaking, some of them literally, doing absolutely nothing because they are not willing to speak first. You must be willing to speak up and make yourself known artfully. Okay? There is an art to drawing attention. I talked about this in masterclass number 1511, the art of drawing attention. If you have not listened to that masterclass, I suggest you listen to that masterclass, the art of drawing attention, number 1511. So you don't want to look thirsty for attention where you're trying too hard to get it, because that will have the opposite effect of what you're after. At the same time, you want to be able to draw attention in a way that will get people to want to know more about you, want to talk to you, want to introduce themselves to you, want to ask you questions. There's an art to doing that. And listen to masterclass number 1511, and then when you're done with that, I would suggest you go read the book called The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, where he dedicates a whole book to it. I made it a hot masterclass, he made it a hot book. All right, make sure you know how to draw attention to yourself and be willing to speak first, even if nobody's paying attention. If your art is not working, then just start talking. All right, just go to the science part and just speak up to people. People will speak back. Point number 3. The topic once again today is how to know people and be known. Give value. This is the third thing you got to do. Now, if you speak up to people, if you go outside, let's say you go outside and there is some uniqueness to you. So now you're where people are and there's uniqueness. So people are paying attention to you. And then you actually speak first. So people are actually talking to you and they're listening to what you have to say. You are doing everything right. If you have no value to offer them, they will completely forget about you as soon as that conversation is over. If you have no value to give. I want you to notice something about yourself. The people who we remember are those who have made our lives better, easier, or put us in position to move forward faster. Those are the people we remember. Think of your own life. Who are the people you remember the most? Think of someone you haven't seen or talked to in 5, 10, 20 years, but you still remember them. You remember them very well. And you remember them in a positive way. Why? Because they did something that made your life better or easier, or they helped you position yourself to move forward faster. Or maybe they position you to move forward faster. Those are the people we remember. Those who have given us value. That's what we remember. So here's what you need to do. Reverse engineer. You give other people something that improves their life, and they will see you as a source of positive benefit. And I guarantee you, when they see you that way, they will remember you. We remember people who give us positive benefit. Even if we haven't talked to them or heard of them or said anything about them in years, we remember those who give us positive benefit. All right, to this day, I still hear from athletes or people who were athletes at a certain point who wanted to play basketball, and they're watching all my basketball videos. They don't play basketball anymore, but they're like, man, I used to watch your basketball videos every single day when I thought I was going to the NBA in 8th grade, but now I'm 24 and I run my own IT business. I've gotten these messages, many of these messages from people who used to watch my basketball stuff. And I'm telling you that, again, not to impress you, but to impress upon you. I gave value to these people so they still remember me, even though they haven't picked up a basketball in 7 years, because I was giving them value at the time that's what they were looking for. And usually when you give other people something that improves their life, here's another benefit you get. They usually will tell other people about you. You don't have to ask them to do it. They'll do it on their own. If you are good enough at what you do and you're giving enough value to other people, they will spread the word about you without you even asking them to spread the word. If people aren't spreading the word about you voluntarily, it's because you're not quite giving them enough value, or maybe you're giving the wrong value to the wrong people. You get the right amount of value to the right people, they will spread the word about you on their own. You don't even have to ask them. But here's the rub about value. All right, just in case you were starting to get stuck mentally, like, damn, I don't even know how I can give value. What can I do, Dre? I don't have a master class. I don't make courses. I don't write books. How can I give value to other people? Giving value to other people is not always about giving them new information or offering some material that can be purchased. That's not the only way to give value. Sometimes, check this out. If you're unique enough, just knowing you is valuable to another person. Have you ever made a connection with a person and they knew you, they recognized you, they learned your name, they were paying attention to you, you exchanged information with them, and just knowing that person, just being connected to that person, they didn't do anything, just being connected to that person made you feel better. Just standing next to them, talking to them for 5 minutes made you feel great. It might have been the highlight of your day, or the highlight of your event, or the highlight of the whatever happened that day, wherever you were involved in. Just knowing that person, just connecting with them made you feel amazing. Has that ever happened to you? I'm sure it has. Have you ever had that effect on another person? I'm sure you have. That is value. Sometimes just knowing you is valuable enough to another person if you have built enough equity in your own name, in your particular space. You understand? So Steve Ballmer, the owner of the LA Clippers, as a business person, before he became owner of the Clippers, he might not be that valuable to a room full of basketball fans because nobody would know who the hell he is. But in a room full of tech geeks and nerds, just knowing him is value. Why? Because of who he is and what he's done and what he's accomplished in that sphere. Now, in whatever circle you're in, people knowing you in that circle because of what you've achieved makes you worthy of something. Is this true or not? We have any doctors or scientists or teachers here, or lawyers, or anyone who's in a niche field in which people who are outside of that field probably wouldn't give a damn about your accomplishments in that field, but in that field, in a room full of people who are in that market or doing the thing that you do, you could be the most popular man or woman in the room because of what you've achieved in that space, that they recognize it and they understand what it means. That can be worth something. It can be worth a lot, depending on who you are. So there are events where, for example, as a speaker, I've seen events that have a whole lot of white men as presenters, and then that event, because they get trashed in media or in their space for having too many white men as their speakers, they see black and brown faces and women as value regardless of what they have to say. The woman doesn't have to be good, or the man doesn't have to be good. They'll hire black and brown faces just so they can say they have diversity, and women just so they can say they have diversity, and the black and brown faces, the diversity that they bring in, quote unquote, might not even be any good. Because the value is not in what they have to say, is in the fact that you look different from what they usually have. That is value in certain places. And why is that? Because it helps them look less tone deaf regarding race and sex. This is the game, all right? Any of you who works in a big company, there's probably a department for diversity and inclusion. Any of you heard that phrase, diversity and inclusion? Know what that means? That means that company or that organization or whatever they are, they want to look like they are diverse and they're including everybody. And when they're aiming to do that, you don't need to be as good as the people who had to earn their way in just based off merit. All right, you don't. I'm keeping it real. And I'm qualified to say that. Now, if I was a white man, I probably couldn't say that. People would take that as a little bit, I don't know, insensitive. But as a black man, I can damn sure say that. All right, diversity and inclusion means you ain't even got to be that good. You just got to be diverse. You got to be female and have some melanin in your skin. That is diversity. And that's what the company needs. And if you happen to present yourself at the right time, in the right place, to the right person, boom, you're hired. That's the game. Now, how do you make this work for you? You got to know your audience. Who are you talking to? What do they need? And it may not be the same thing as what they want or the same thing as what they say. They might say one thing, but they actually need a different thing. So for the example that I just gave with a conference who's hiring speakers, they might say, we want a speaker who can talk about this and this and this, who can deliver at this level, who has this much experience. What they really need is a black woman so that nobody can say that they're sexist and racist. They won't say that. They won't say, well, look, we got to hire a black woman because otherwise people are going to trash us in the media and we might not have any attendees next year and they're going to hashtag us to death. That's what they need. Now, what they want, they're going to tell you something completely different. So you got to learn to see through what people say and read in between the lines of what they're speaking to you to find out what they really need. Offer people what they need, they'll buy it without you having to do a sales job. Let's recap today's class, which is how to know people and be known. I know a lot of people who express that they have something great. They're good at something or great at something. They just don't have enough eyeballs on them to get the results that they want. Now, I told you in master class number 1334 how to get any job anytime. Today is how to get your name known anytime by anyone. Point number 1, be outside and be unique. Master class 854, luck strategies to be outside. People can't know you if you are not present and you're not expressing yourself. So either identify something within you, the unique part, identify something within you or manufacture through your actions, creations, and experience things that make you stand out from other people. Point number 2, speak first. A lot of people in life are waiting for someone to come up to them and speak to them first, both literally and metaphorically. Learn to draw attention artfully. Masterclass number 1511. Number 3, give value. People remember those who make their lives better, easier, and move forward faster. So give things that improve other people's lives and they will always remember you. And the thing is, giving people things that will improve their lives. Giving people value is not always something tangible. Expand your mind. People need other things besides money. Are there any things you need in life right now that are not tangible and that are not material? Yes? Okay, guess what? Everybody else has the same problem. They got things that they need that are not tangible and material. You might need some tangible material things, but you also need some things that don't even fit into those categories. If you can learn to identify what other people need that they are having a hard time fulfilling, you will become valuable to them and they will always remember you. They will know you and they will do things for you just out of the reciprocity wiring that human beings have. You can learn to use this to your advantage. This is something that I talk about deep in my people skills course, which may not be out yet when you're listening to this, but it will be soon. You can get yourself on the waiting list by going to workonmygame.com/people. Work on your game. Dre all day.